Hi everyone, I'm Tanaaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your last energy forecast for 2022. I'll be taking a short break and I'll be back on January 8th. So I'm going to go through the next 2 weeks in this forecast. Plus I'll give you some insights into 2023. But before I do that, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for joining me each week or, whenever you would join me. I just really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much for showing up. And thank you so much for showing up, especially this week where a lot of us are celebrating the holidays. It's busy. It can be a stressful time of year. For those of you, who have loved ones missing from your family table this year, that can be even harder. So my heart goes out to all of you, no matter what you're going through at this time. And thank you so much for joining me this week and all weeks. So really, really appreciate each and every one of you. So sending some love to you. All right, this week we have Mercury going retrograde. This happens on December 29th. So this means we're going to start the year with Mercury in retrograde. And also what's interesting about 2023 is we'll end the year in Mercury retrograde too. So this is a little bit of a theme we have going on this year and next year. So when Mercury goes retrograde, what does that mean? Mercury rules over our thought processes, the way we think about things, and how we take the things that we think and communicate them into words, into our writing. All of that is ruled by Mercury. You could say it's kind of like the thought voice connection. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, we can find it more difficult to connect with how we really feel. We can find it more difficult to express how we really feel. And that's because how we really feel and our thought processes are up for change. We're being asked to change. We're being asked to broaden the way we're thinking about things, to shift the way we have been thinking about things. So if you find yourself feeling a little confused, a little foggy under this energy, you find yourself kind of not knowing how to think about something, you are changing. You are in a process of kind of metamorphosis. The ancient astrologers used to say when a planet went retrograde, it was journeying through the underworld. And I really love this symbolism because it really kind of helps to encapsulate what a retrograde is all about. Mercury traveling through the underworld is essentially moving through our subconscious. So it's a time where we're able to reconnect with those hidden, lost messages, to bring something out of the shadows and bring it into the light. So there could be a lot of misinformation, misfiring, misunderstanding. And then when Mercury finally emerges from that underworld, we're able to bring whatever was hiding in our subconscious, whatever was hidden, can come into the light, and we have full awareness and full knowledge. It's kind of like you could think about a death and rebirth phase for our thought processes. And then, how we speak and how we express ourselves is kind of like a product of that. So this particular retrograde is really interesting. There are two kind of interesting things going on with it. Mercury retrograde, by the way, happens 3 to 4 times a year. So it is a natural rhythm of the cosmic energies, and it's something that can really be empowering. It's also a really powerful time to connect with our intuition too. When the outer world doesn't make sense, you go within, and inside within, we often have many, many jewels of wisdom. We often know the truth. The higher self knows the way. So the two interesting things with this retrograde, one is that Venus is very active, so we may notice themes around our relationships, around self-care, around feeling beautiful within our own skin. Money can sometimes come up too, so there could be communication issues in our relationships, money issues relating to communication somehow. We can also find ourselves needing to take that time to really, reconnect with ourselves and what we really feel away from the opinions of others. The other thing, which is probably more significant with this retrograde, is that Mars is retrograde at the same time. So Mars and Mercury retrograde together can create a little bit of sluggish, slow down energy. We can be playing that game of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It may also be a little easier for us to lose our temper, say something we don't really mean, lash out. Those fiery Mars heated emotions can be harder to suppress and contain. So, finding healthy ways to channel how you really feel might be important, especially if you're around family gatherings. It might be a good reminder to just try to stay in your peace and to, if your opinion is not needed, maybe keep it to yourself. I don't know. Finding ways to just kind of keep that in mind. And Mercury also rules over travel. So if you're traveling around this time, it's just don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll have a great time. You'll have a great trip. But just kind of, double check things. Just, go in preparing yourself that there could be some delays. That's kind of typical around the holidays anyway. So just try to stay organized. Try not to take on too much that you become scattered. When you're in that state, it's really, really easy to be forgetful, to miss things, so just try to, especially this Mercury retrograde is happening in Capricorn. So try to stay grounded. Try to really be present. Don't overload yourself. The chance of burnout is very, very high under this energy. So if you are doing a lot of things that are out of alignment with what you really want to be doing, you will find yourself far more burnt out than you need to be. So keep that in mind. Try to carve out some quiet time and set your boundaries. Again, that Capricorn energy, that earthy Capricorn energy. It's okay to say no, or it's okay to say, hey, why don't we do it like this? Or is it okay if we do it like this? Try to honor your boundaries, especially around this time where we do feel a lot of obligations. Just try to have those boundaries, find that balance. So that is kind of the energy as we wrap up the year. We'll have Mercury and Mars retrograde together. Can be a little foggy, sticky energy, but hopefully you're able to take time out to rest, to relax, to reflect. All fantastic things to do under this energy. As we get into January, we will be feeling the energy of the Cancer full moon. The Cancer full moon falls on the 6th of January. There is some very sensitive, emotionally charged energy around this full moon. What's interesting is that this full moon also is feeling that effect of both Mars and Mercury being in retrograde together. So a lot of energy around this full moon. You may just be feeling a little extra sensitive. Your emotions might be a little heightened. It's a time where you're really going to want to practice that Cancer nurturing, mothering energy. It may be that you need to give this to somebody else, or it could be that you need to give it to yourself. How can you nurture and mother yourself? How can you create that? If we think of the idea of what a mothering energy should be, whatever that means for you, whatever that word means for you, how does that feel on the highest vibration? I understand not everyone has a good relationship with their idea of their mother, but in a perfect world, what should that mothering relationship feel like? And how can you give that to yourself? It's always a little hard to feel into the full moon so far out, but there is sensitive energy around this full moon. So just again, a reminder to protect yourself, to have some tools in your back pocket of just, protecting your energy field, not taking on the emotions of others, being a little more kind of compassionate towards your own sensitivities and maybe the sensitivities of others. So that is kind of the energy that's bridging us from 2022 into 2023. 2023 is a year, I'm looking at a little bit of numerology now. It's a year where we're really being encouraged to find our sense of self, and particularly through our relationships. So it's kind of like, how can I stay true to myself in my relationships? How can I be authentic even when I'm surrounded by a room full of people? And, it's easy to kind of get swayed into other people's energy fields and opinions and, to that mask we put on to kind of fit in. How can we be more authentic in our interactions with the world? How many times a day do you stop yourself from doing something that you think, oh, I should do this. Oh, no, no. Oh, I should say that to that person. Oh, no, no, don't do that. You know, observe that in you. That full moon may also be tapping into that. How can I be more authentic to myself and just live in my authentic truth when I'm around others? And obviously for some of us, actually for most of us watching this, our authentic truth is often far more compassionate, wise, intuitive than we expect, than we allow ourselves to be. There are some other people out there whose authentic self may not be, but that's ego. So don't get that confused with authentic self. How can I move past that ego that thinks it knows everything and into that place where I'm more aligned with my higher self and can stay in that place when I'm in the presence of others? It's not easy. I'm not very good at it, or at least I don't think I'm very good at it. But this is part of what the lessons we'll be learning in 2023. The other thing about 2023, yes, there's this theme of relationships and kind of finding our sense of self within our relationships. That's kind of a big theme. Venus also goes retrograde in 2023. So again, that will be a theme coming up for us. Venus retrograde is all about relationships, heart openings, and it happens in Leo, which is very, very heart-centered energy. The other thing that's really interesting about 2023, if I'm just kind of touching on the themes of it, is we have this awesome solar eclipse in Aries happening in April. So actually we have 2 solar eclipses in total next year, and we have 2 lunar eclipses as well, but the solar eclipses just stand out. They're like standout eclipses, which is kind of interesting because I feel like this year in 2022, the standout eclipses were the lunar. In 2023, the standout eclipses are solar. So what does that indicate? That indicates it's a year of new beginnings. Solar eclipses open doors, they open windows, they shine the light at the end of the tunnel. Get out of that tunnel. That is what 2023 will be helping us to do. It will be helping us to really wrap up those loose ends, really bring completion and closure to the last few years and launch into the new. We're going to feel ready to launch into the new, and the universe will be helping us to tie up all those loose ends to get there. The other really interesting thing about 2023 is that we have 3 major planets moving signs. Pluto, which only moves signs every 2 decades, so like 20 plus years. Pluto is moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius. This has never happened in our lifetime. So brand new energy, setting up brand new generational lessons. Saturn is also moving out of Aquarius and moving into Pisces. Saturn only moves every 2.5 years. So again, setting up a whole new karmic lesson for us as a planet and on a personal level. Saturn moving into Pisces is also setting up new generational themes and lessons. And then Jupiter is also on the move this year, which is a little more common, but Jupiter moving out of Aries into Taurus. And all of these moves happen in the first 6 months of the year. So a lot of shifting, changing energy, setting up never before experienced energies that we are getting to integrate and work with and use. So I would say as a whole, 2023 is going to bring a lot of new experiences, a lot of door openings. It's really going to be a year of closure, and it's going to be a year where we're really focusing on that. Who am I in my relationships? If you want to know more about 2023, I have a whole article about it. It's a forecast, starts off with just a summary and then goes into specific dates. So I'll give some specific dates about all the major sort of cosmic events coming up. Of course, you can follow along throughout the year on foreverconscious.com. And if you want to stay even one step ahead, moon calendar. I know I talk about these every week, but I really, really appreciate it. It really is a huge support to me. So thank you guys so, so much. Your moon calendars are available now. Each month contains a cosmically inspired affirmation, dates and signs for the new moons, full moons, eclipses, plus retrograde, solstices, and all that fun stuff. So if you would like one of these, I still have some available. Moon calendar 2023. I'll put a link below. And once again, thank you guys so much. I wish you all a very, very happy, bright start to the new year. Yes, Mercury is retrograde, Mars is retrograde. Not a good time to set resolutions, by the way, or set goals in the first part of the year. So give yourself a break. Don't worry about those goals. Don't worry about those resolutions. Give yourself a break. And if you are missing a loved one at your holiday table this year, find a way to honor them, whether that's putting out a plate of food for them, lighting a candle, maybe buying them a little gift and putting it on an altar with some flowers, and just, finding a way to honor them can really help. With this Mars Mercury retrograde energy, there'll be a lot of reflective energy around. So, reflecting on the good times, taking a walk down memory lane, make your loved ones part of your holiday celebrations. I do think it helps. All right, that's enough from me. You guys all have a wonderful, wonderful start to the year, and I'll see you back in January. Take care. Bye.